We ate out often, but cooking seemed to be the only way Mackenzie could relax. That, and sex. I stroked the coffee machine and purred a little, hoping that was enough to have it submit a short shot of espresso. That morning it complied. I took the cup out to Mackenzie. He was reading through the divorce document. So that's it then. How do you feel? In the beginning, I tried to keep account of how many times Mackenzie asked me how I felt. It was a matter of great importance to him. I think I lost count, or run out of numbers by the third day of living with him. Good. I'm glad it's over. Now we can go public, I said. Thank fuck for that. A mystery benefactor had lodged £50,000 with my solicitor, some months previous, to entice Scott to a quick and painless divorce. I and the solicitor had yet to discover whom that benefactor was. However, Scott wasn't having any of it. He wanted more. I'd been promoted to a job at twice my previous salary, and he'd had to resign from his. Working under me wasn't practical for either of us. In the end, he had to accept the offer. He'd resisted, argued, called me all the names he could think of, slandered me, accused me of sleeping my way into my position, and generally made my life hell. For that reason, and after days of arguing with Mackenzie about it, I'd wanted our relationship to stay quiet. I had no doubt Scott would use it as fuel to verbally abuse me more. Scott had always believed I'd slept with my previous boss, Jerry, and when Mackenzie brought Jerry's company, he transferred the assumption. He was wrong where Jerry was concerned, but spot on with Mackenzie. Mackenzie pulled me down to sit on his lap. He wrapped his arms around me and nuzzled into my neck. I'd have paid more, he said quietly. You'd... What? He chuckled. You lodged that money with my solicitor? I asked. I'd have paid anything, Lauren, to have that fucker out your life. I shook my head. I asked you about it and you denied it. Because we didn't know where we were going at that point, and I knew you wouldn't have accepted it. You can't do things like that. Not that I'm not grateful, of course. As soon as the apartment sells, you'll get it back. I don't want it back. I wanted you, and I wanted rid of him. So you bought me. Is that what you really think? No. Dumb comment. It was. Now, if you want to repay me, you could wrap those lips of yours around my cock. Mr. Miller, we are in the garden, in London, with neighbours. And, like I said before, baby, you Brits have such an uptight attitude sometimes. He winked at me. I slid from his lap and crouched between his thighs. His eyes darkened. His lips formed a wicked smirk. I leaned up and ran my tongue down his chest, circling his nipple. When I bit down, I heard his hiss of breath. I trailed my tongue down his stomach, then pulled away and stood. Anticipation, Mackenzie. Isn't that what you always say? Now, excuse me, but I have a job to get to. I laughed as I walked away, but my stomach clenched. I desperately wanted to stop and watch as he ran his hand down his stomach and under the waistband of his shorts. Not fair, I called over my shoulder. I loved watching him masturbate, and he fucking knew it. I headed for a shower and prepared for work. A sleek Mercedes arrived to collect us for work. Although the company owned a fleet of pool cars, Mackenzie had decided he wanted one just for us. There was absolutely no point in trying to drive across London ourselves, and he wouldn't venture on public transport. What it meant, though, was leaving the house an hour earlier than I'd been used to. Morning, Dave, I said as I climbed in and greeted the driver. Miss Perry, what a fine morning it is. Mr. Miller? He nodded to Mackenzie. Plans for today? Mackenzie asked me. I was shadowing Alex, my mentor, until he felt I was ready to take over from him. In truth, I was, rightly or wrongly, delaying that, so Gabriella, the love of Alex's life, could make the decision she needed to take. I think we are meeting the finance teams today, I said, and then shuddered at the thought. Why the shudder? Mackenzie said with a chuckle. I sort of know what I'm looking at. If the numbers are black, we're good, right? I had no doubt Mackenzie saw all the accounts for all the businesses he owned. But his CEOs, of which I was about to become one, were supposed to know how well financially the individual business...